Hey, what's good? What's good? Long time no see. It's your boy Nova Z the ENT coming at you with another video after what 6, 7 months. To kind of do a state of the channel. I kind of said this in a TikTok video. Follow me, TikTok.com or whatever. Nova Z the ENT over there. Also, is that I just hadn't been passionate. I legitimately thought, you know, um, I have two jobs. I have I have a family to take care of, and I enjoy and I'm passionate about recording videos, right? But I legitimately thought that there would be new characters now, new villains by now, right? Obviously you can tell, I've tried to do the test twice on this, and my sound quality is messed up, and I don't want to take the time currently. I will for the next video, next video after this one while I'm doing my stream of consciousness, but I mean, to get the sound, I got a whole setup, right? I got to get it back in order and get it where I need to be, right? But I legitimately thought there would be new people to talk about. I didn't think Myron Gaines and Andrew Tate and Sneeko and Clavicular and things of that nature would still be popular 6 or 7 months later, which again, good for them, great for their longevity, same thing I hope to have eventually, right? But I thought there'd be new discourse, new things to talk about, new interactions. And if you see my little background, it's actually kind of my first video back. I wanted to talk about something I've been talking about to other people around me that I think that it doesn't need to be spoken on because nothing needs to be spoken on, but I want to speak on it. It's something that I call inside conversations, right? Social media has created it's great that we're able to share our thoughts, talk to each other, bounce ideas off, make money, generate money just from talking about things we're passionate about, right? One of the things that I've noticed though, and you probably noticed it as well, I'm trying to coin this term, so if you use it, give me some credit, shout me out, spread my channel around, trying to be able to pay some bills with my content, right? Inside conversations, right? Like normally when you're with your friends, people that you know, people that you love, people that you hang out around with that represent you, if they do something in public that you don't necessarily think is couth or becoming of somebody who associates with you, you may not admonish them outside. You may just like be quiet, let the silence kind of speak for itself, and then at home in private tell them exactly what you think of what they said or what they did and how it represents you and the people around you, like your friend group or who you are as a person, or for me in this conversation, our race. And obviously I still haven't gotten off the whole black excellence thing that I'm a part of that I started making videos with. But one of the things that I noticed, I'm gonna give you an example of what I mean by that, and then I'm gonna go into why I have Random and Jew and Watts and Logics in the thumbnail or in the background, mostly because I need the background, but it does help with what I'm talking about, right? I could have put Don, Old Boy Speaks, Astro, anybody like that, right? Omeezy in the background, but I enjoy the content of these four. So, and one of them is kind of what made me think of this as a subject, right? If when I'm at a restaurant, I live in a black area. I say it all the time. I live in a black area. When I go out, I see black people. It's the norm, right? If I'm in a restaurant and I'm eating, the room's full of black people. As far as it goes, right? The majority of them, right? And there's one person in there being belligerent, loud, and ridiculous. I don't really look around. I don't really check to see if anybody else sees it. I know everybody else sees it, but that's an individual representing themselves, right? Because they're in a room full of black people. But I will admit, and this may be something that I have to work through on my own terms, on my own time. I do, if I'm out, first off, anytime I go anywhere, I scan the room, see if there's any other black people in the room. That's just the way that it goes, right? I'm sure people of other races, other ilks, other religions do that everywhere they go. This is what I do. So I go in, I scope the place out. Let's say there's me, another black guy over there, another black couple over there, another black couple over there, black guy over there, black girl over there. Total 5 black people in a room of 50 people, 60 people, right? If there's one black person causing a scene, acting out, showing their ass, woo, whatever, I absolutely make it a point, because and here's how I know other black people do it too, right? And from what I'm seeing, right? If one black person starts acting out, I can guarantee you when I look around, 1, 2, 3, 4. All the other 4 black people in the room, we all look at each other and we go, oh man, god damn, you see what this nigga's doing, god damn, embarrassing, right? It's because that person is a representative of their race outside of places where you would genuinely stay. We call that home training, right? But I don't like that term. It feels very slave mastery to me, right? Like you have to be trained at home to act in public. Doesn't to me, Southern grandparents on both sides, whatever. Like it doesn't feel like a good term. So I prefer the term in-home conversations. Where we can't directly, that person didn't have an in-home. We can't have an in-home conversation with this person, right? We can't tell them how what they do is representative of who we are outside of the place, right? And the reason why, let me get to the point. I mean, it's gonna be a rant. Obviously, it's a ramble. I don't write scripts, but there's 4. All these 4 have different personalities, right? Some, Watt's a little bit more outspoken. He gets hype. Logic's he's from what I watch. Obviously, I don't watch every single video every single day. I do my best because I enjoy their content, want to support. But Logic's more on the political side, analysis side, debate side. Like not only he debates, but he enjoys watching debates and analyzing those. Random, as his name says, I love watching his content. A couple times a day because I might watch a video about a person and then 2 videos later he's talking about a video game he likes and like that. And then Jew is a little bit more on what I would call how do I phrase this? Like he's the reason why I started this video in general. He's more of he is pro-black, and in my opinion, to a level at which it creates a barrier to interact with other black people when they change their mind. Because I watched his debate. I couldn't watch all of it, obviously, so there could be context I'm missing because I'm missing like 10, 15 minutes of it. You know how that go, whatever, right? And correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Feel free. I have no problem being wrong. But if you watch a lot of his content, and especially when he had this talk with Flacco, he doesn't give the benefit of the doubt in a way that feels inviting for that person to talk later. So what I mean by that is he's having an inside conversation in public. Like I like the way he admonished him. He said like, no, I'm not gonna let you off the hook. You might have these down home North Dakota conservative, thoughts beforehand. Now let's make sure they line up with the way you see the world now. What changed? What got you there? But a lot of it felt like he couldn't. I don't believe, and it's gonna sound rude if I ever run into Flacco in real life. I understand this may ruin any kind of working relationship we could have, right? But I don't think Flacco is smart enough. That's not the right word, right? Like, is wise enough yet to understand that the reason why he probably had that shift is that, he's a second generation, he's a first generation American of African immigrants, right? Most of the time, in my experience, dealing with first generation Africans, like Americans who come over here and their parents are African, that their parents do not see themselves as black. You see this a lot, now correct me if I'm wrong, with Ethiopians, Somalis, and Eritreans. They definitely don't see themselves as black. They're Somali, Habesha, Eritrean, whatever, right? It's their children who a lot of the time see themselves as black. I saw a video today where 2 of the kids, they're first generation Americans of immigrant parents, and they said, not Americans, Brits, right? And they said, oh no Habesha see themselves as black. We're Habesha first. And then but 2 of them said that. Then the other one next to him, he was like, no, I'm a black Somali man, or I'm a black Eritrean man. I apologize for not knowing the ethnicity off the top of my head, or the country of origin, right, nationality. But he said, no, I'm black and I'm that, right? That's where we're from. That's our nation. But I am black also, right? And I think that Flacco had to have because he went from North Dakota to LA. So he went from probably being in an enclosed bubble where his parents described black people and Africans as different, got into the world, and he's like, oh no, I'm a nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a nigga first. I'm African when I go back home and hang out with my parents, right? Like, the children of immigrants usually feel black, right? Like they might not have the same lived experience of generations and generations, right? That's a part of why they do feel different, because their parents are usually doctors, attorneys, lawyers, things of that nature. That's how they immigrated here a lot of the time, not all the time, but in my experience, they are. And he had to get into the real world to realize, man, I am ostensibly a nigga first, and then I've got to deal with that, rectify how I see myself as I go through life, right? And then another thing that I think he realized, Flacco realized, and again, I would love to talk to him. Like, I hope that at some point, I'm not trying to give him graces and like nobody's infallible, but I'm giving him grace so far as in like, he was having inside conversations all of the time. All of the clips, I'm like, man, you talking to your friends, man, like in his brain. He's like, oh yeah, we hate these niggas. I hate these niggas. I know what he means, right? If you don't think you know what he means, you're being disingenuous if you're a black man, right? You know what I hate these niggas mean, right? Like at 11:30, people feel uncomfortable to go to the gas station because 4 niggas in a shiesty mask are hanging out in front of, a gas station. And yes, I don't hate them as in like I hate the person that they are. I hate the viewpoint that they have that leads them to believe that hanging out at the gas station in a shiesty mask at 11:30 is something that they should be doing, right? And that's something that Jew said in a video. And this isn't all to say to bash Jew. Like, we all have different, personalities. I love his video. Man, he did one over the winter about the squatter in DC. Man, I love that video because he rents out. He has what I'm assuming, I gather from the video, he has properties, right? So he was able to give a good viewpoint of what and in DC, right? Like in the area, like he was able to give a great viewpoint of what it's like to rent things out in DC and how that impacted the person, as far as that goes. But he said that you have to love all black people to be pro-black. No, you do not. No, you don't. Right? You can say, you don't have to admonish. You don't have to say like you're lesser than me because of who you are, like Flacco used to do, right? But you can say, hey, this behavior is unbecoming of somebody who wants to move forward, and you represent us. Astro said that in a video. He's like, Meezy had on a brown sweater with some stains, and Astro said, hey bro, you are a black man, you represent all black men, you got too much money and a nice set to have a sweater like that, because that is true. He had and he was doing it as a joke, right? But that's an inside conversation. He sent him a little text, kept it moving, and I'm sure Omizi appreciated that, because yes, you are a representative of your entire race, whether you like it or not. When it comes to when things break containment, when the whole bonnet situation at Tuskegee, right? I would not be honest if I didn't say I didn't understand why they don't want bonnets to be worn in the classroom, like sweats and bonnets, because you have to present a certain level of professionalism in your own job. But instead of starting at freshman year, maybe start at senior year when they have to get used to that going into the workforce, right? Like, you can have conversations like that and understand that they do represent who they're going to be when they get out there, but they are still kids and they are paying you money. Let's treat it accordingly, right? Like I said, this video wasn't to just bash. This video, it was just to kind of talk about, like, I understand. To kind of make sure I drive the point home. Like, thanks for listening. If you've made it this far, I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, share my content if you think, hey, if it makes it back to TU or Watts or Logic or Random or anything like that, no shade or hard feelings. I'm just, I'm glad to be back, because this really inspired me to get back in here, because this is actually the new stuff I was trying to, I needed to talk about, right? When you talk, you absolutely should take him to task and say, this is the stuff you used to say. How are you going to show that you have changed your mind? And do you have the intelligence to realize, the wisdom, the experience to realize why what you used to think doesn't make any sense or help anybody with how your opinions are now? You're so staunchly, against racism, things of that nature now, and then Flacco, he said, now again, there's a lot of stuff where I said, like, that made me say, like, I don't think he's wise enough to understand it, how he got there, even though I can tell, like, he said, like, no, I grew, I got here, I saw all these things, I realized I'm a nigga, like, and the way that these people were treating niggas, mean, oh wait, that's how they see me. This is crazy. Like, if I were in that boat, there's no way I think this would be justice, right? And I always tell people who are concerned, like, when I talk to conservatives, I always say, like, usually conservatives have a problem with empathy. They can't understand something that directly doesn't happen to them, and this may be the catalyst that he needed to get on the right path. And opening up a bridge of like, all right, cool, you don't, it's not a purity test. You don't have to. I think Watts said that in this episode. Actually, he said like a lot of people were getting on him for saying he can change, and Watts was saying he hasn't made a video disavowing anything that he said, because Logic said this. Logic said Hunter Avalon made an entire video, scrubbed his old content. You know, now I don't know, you know, either of those background. Maybe Hunter Avalon has enough money in the bank to do that, right? Because those old things would still do views, would still bring in income. I know Flacco said he's got bank on him, so maybe he should do that as well. But that's a choice that he would have to make, right? And I don't think saying that he's changed or not based upon him making a video on the day he decided to change is something that he necessarily has to do. But it's well within, you know, their opinion if he should do that. But yeah, I mean, I got plenty to talk about being back. You know, I've got some videos down the pipeline. I'm gonna do some reacts to loser maxing. Again, I'm trying to do more videos like this where it's just my thoughts on paper, no reacts, no things of that nature, so I can change it up. I promise, you know, like I said, I work 2 jobs. I got a lot going on. I promise that I'm gonna get better at editing and things of that nature. I know Random said he was gonna teach me. I apologize. I failed you on that one, but we back in it now. Yeah, so some loser max and stuff, video games that I like. I'm passionate again. We're gonna get back to it. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. If you made it this far, again, appreciate you. Like, subscribe, comment. I think my next video is gonna be on Mo Hates Media, and how I love his content. I didn't realize. I said in one of his videos, I didn't realize he was the wet dude. Hilarious, right? But I think he's running into I mean, not too much though, because if you look on his Patreon, he's doing nice on his Patreon. But you get more flies with honey than vinegar, and I think his personality is more of a vinegar personality. And you know, if I'll throw my opinion in. If I make an enemy, I make an enemy. But I love his content. I love all these people's content. I love you. Have a great day. 1.